Guys, it is a really dreary day outside. So what better thing to do on a dreary day than talk about disappointing products? It so goes together. So today I'm going to talk about all the things, no, not all the things, because a lot of things I return when they disappoint me. These are just things that I happen to not return for various reasons and I still have, and so I can talk about them with you. Now, on my channel, you guys know I love to be positive and I love to talk about things I love, but I wouldn't be a good YouTuber and a good advice giver when it comes to makeup if I didn't talk about things that have disappointed me as well. Now, that being said, all of these brands have things that I adore, I love. I think all these brands are great and amazing. Every brand is going to have some duds every once in a while. So my intention here is really just to kind of talk to you about things to kind of save your money on, you may not need. Now, maybe some of these things work for you. Maybe one of these is your holy grail. You know, different things are going to work for different people, and these are just my opinions. You know how that goes. But we'll talk about what has not worked for me and why. Let's start off with something that I really wanted to love. And, you know, just for the record, when I was going through all of my stuff, thinking about, okay, what is great, what do I not like, and I literally went through my entire collection. There is a ton of high-end stuff here. So it's not just drugstore that can be disappointing. A lot of the time, high-end stuff can be disappointing. And when you're spending a premium on brands like this, you don't want to waste your money. So Bobbi Brown Shimmer Bricks. Let's talk about these for a second. This one is a limited edition. This is in Sunset Pink, and you would think it would be a beautiful highlighter looking at it. The thing about this is it doesn't have any payoff. Like, I tried to love this. When you swirl them all together, you're getting a little bit of a kind of peachy bronziness there. You can try to stick your brush just in the lighter one, and you can try to get just, you know, a lighter highlight. I just found like I couldn't get these to pay off on the skin. I couldn't get them to show up. I tried to use them as eyeshadow, like I tried to use the brown by itself, and the brown was too light to be an eyeshadow. The whole thing just was disappointing in general. So I don't know if other Bobbi Brown Shimmer Bricks are better than this one, but I know there are a whole lot of dupes out there, and I'm on a mission to try them. I know Physicians Formula has, you know, they try to mimic things like this. So in terms of highlight, I love highlights. You guys know that. This is definitely not my favorite, so I would avoid that one. Here's something that I wanted to love, and I love e.l.f. I think e.l.f. is a really, really great brand. They have some of my most holy grail items ever. So my hair is like staticky today. I don't know if it's because of the weather. So anyway, e.l.f. has some of my most holy grail items ever, and they're super cheap. They're one of the most affordable brands on the market. I wanted to love this brush. This is called the Crease Brush. I actually wanted to love it and thought I would so much that I bought two right off the bat. I think these are $2 or so. Here's the thing about this brush. You would think, oh, that looks like a nice fluffy crease brush, right? Well, okay, you guys, my fingers are too thin for my wedding ring. If you ever see my wedding ring moving around in videos, that's why. Okay. Sidetracked. Anyway, back to the brush. You would think this would be a nice crease brush, but the problem with it is it's too tight by the ferrule and it's too thin overall. So when you move it, do you see how that does that? All it's doing is swiping. It's not like, it won't actually blend properly. All it will do is kind of swipe your eyeshadow around. So my preference in an eyeshadow brush is something like this one. This is the Morphe M200, but you know, there's lots of other good ones out there. The difference here is it's a little bit thicker on the ferrule. It's not as thin, and it's a little bit softer. So it just moves around a little bit better. I don't know if you could tell the difference there. Hopefully you can from what I'm showing you, but do you see the difference here, how the e.l.f. one is like super thin overall? I mean, even to use as kind of more in the crease, like as a smaller blending brush, it just doesn't work that good. It's just a little too stiff. And so unfortunately that was very disappointing. Another kind of high-end is this Clinique lipstick. This is from their pop line. You know, they have the cheek pops, they now have the eye pops, and this is the, I don't know if they actually call them lip pops, but anyway, it just is called Clinique Pop Lip Color and Primer. And this is an 05 Melon Pop. And this is actually like a really pretty color. You know, I thought it would be a nice everyday wearable color. And even like swatching it, it's very pretty, right? The problem with this one is that it clings to every dry patch on your lips, and it's a little bit, at least in this shade, a little bit too sheer for that, because when you have a sheer lipstick that clings to dry patches, you can really see it. Like sometimes you can get away with it if it's a darker color, but for a light color like this, it just shows everything. And yes, I exfoliate my lips all the time. This one, I actually was in my declutter, and before I actually get it out of my collection, I wanted to just include it here. Okay, moving on to another super high-end item. This has been talked about so much by different beauty gurus over the years. You hear about it, I'm sure you've heard of it before. This is Benefit Rockateur Blush. Now, I love the Benefit box blushes. My first ever high-end blush was Benefit Dandelion, and it still holds a place in my heart. I still love it. I love their Hoola bronzer. Comes with a little brush. The brushes actually, you guys, are not that bad. I use them from time to time, especially the Dandelion one I really like. It's pretty soft, and this one's kind of tapered. Can you see that? Which is kind of cool. I actually like these brushes. I think they're decent. Has a nice mirror. Like, the packaging on this is great. This is a $36 blush in Canada. And for $36, you want to love it. The problem with this, and it might just be my skin tone, but it just does not pay off any color at all. Like, it's so light. You can't even see the swatch. And I've tried 3 or 4 times to get it to work for me. It just doesn't even show up on my skin, and that's really disappointing. So this is gonna have to leave my collection soon as well. So I'm actually planning on doing a YouTube Made Me Buy It pretty soon, which is gonna be kind of a roundup of everything that my favorite YouTubers have made me buy over the years. Hopefully when I make you buy things, I want to give you like my best recommendations and things that really work for me. And I don't want you guys to be disappointed with anything that I recommend to you. But I think YouTube Made Me Buy It. It happens to the best of us. And sometimes it works out. Most of the time for me it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to include this here just because it is a very disappointing product. But in my YouTube Made Me Buy It, it'll probably be a mixture of things I love and things I don't. Okay. Jam Beauty 89, Jessica. I love her. I think she's fantastic. She's just such a great, honest YouTuber. She loves this stuff. This just does not work for me. This is the Bare Minerals Well Rested Concealer. And this is like a powder product, a loose powder product. You can see that there. It's kind of got a yellow tinge to it. It's not finely milled. I think you can see that. It's not a finely milled powder. It's very chunky. Kind of like when you mix up cake batter and you get like, you know, lumps in it. That's what it reminds me of. I've tried to use this in different ways. I mean, I've tried to use it by itself, which, I mean, it is kind of messy. You know, it's giving my hand pretty good coverage there, isn't it? But when I try to use this under my eyes, which is obviously what it's intended for, it sits there really badly. Like, it sits on top of my skin, it oxidizes, it turns even more yellow. It doesn't mix well with foundation. I've tried it with other concealers underneath it, thought maybe it would work better as like a setting powder. No, it just cakes up. It's a very, very cakey product. I've tried so many times to get this to work and I just can't get it to work. It's just the most cakey, yellow, oxidized thing sitting on my skin, and it looks awful. So that's a big, huge pass for me. Another pass, and this is the only one I've tried from this line. I don't know if any other colors are better, but this is the Revlon Color Stay eyeshadow quad, and this is in 587 Wild. Okay, brush is always falling out when I open these. This, first of all, I don't really know what I was thinking when it comes to the colors, to be honest with you. I mean, it's bright orange and bright teal. Like, how do those even go together to begin with? But the problem with this, first of all, the transition color, it's very powdery. It's very hard in there too. Like, it's hard to get anything out. And then when you do, it's very powdery and kind of chalky. And then the highlight, exact same thing. I don't know if you can see on my finger how chalky that looks, even just when I dip my finger into it. It's super, super chalky. When you blend it in like really kind of hard, you can kind of get a nice highlight there. It's too difficult to work with. And these two, again, very hardly pressed. They do have nice pigment, but you can see they have good pigment, but they do not blend well. Like, they really, okay, you can really see it. See that? You see that? Yeah, that does not blend well at all. So I don't know if the other quads in this line are better, but this was a huge pass for me as well. Taking off swatches in between every single thing here. Maybe I should just move on. Let the swatches live. Okay, this, I don't hate it, but I am a little bit disappointed. So these are the NARS, whatchamacallits. They are the dual intensity eyeshadows. These are very, very high-end expensive products. One came to me in the Superstar set from Sephora, which was an awesome value, and one I just bought on my own. They each have a mirror. They look beautiful in the pan. Like, they have this very nice, you know, kind of square design going on. This is Callisto, this is Himalaya. They are both absolutely gorgeous colors. When you swatch it with your finger, here's Callisto. This is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. So beautiful. When you swatch it with your fingers, you are gonna get that gorgeous swatch, that gorgeous color, that gorgeous pigment. You're gonna see the swatch. When you put it on your eyes, it just is so hard to work with. And I've heard a lot of people say that. I've tried it wet, I've tried it dry, I've tried it with my fingers, I've tried it with various brushes. I can never really get it to show up as well as it does on a swatch like this. And that's what is disappointing about this product. It's just that you can't really get it to do this. You know, it's almost like a tease. It's teasing you with its swatches. So, you know what? I'm not ready to give up on these entirely. I'm still gonna keep trying them with different brushes, different techniques, but in general, for the price and for what it is, it's a little too hard to work with. If you have success with these, let me know what you do, because I would love for them to work for me. Next thing is this Milani Big Blush. I love the Milani Big Blush in Luminoso. I think it is one of the most beautiful blushes ever. Like, it might be one of my favorites of all time. But this is Dolce Pink, and it looks gorgeous in the pan. The problem with this is it is all glitter. Like, it is just chock full of glitter. I don't know if you could see it, but trust me, it's there. That might work for some people. Maybe even in the summer, like if you were really going for a bronzed goddess look, might work. But overall, especially for somebody in their mid-30s, no, not gonna work. Okay, more than halfway through. I did narrow these down beforehand. So I do have some other things in my collection that are slightly disappointing, but these are the most disappointing of all. Okay, Tarte. Tarte is not a brand that I have tried very much of. In fact, I'm planning a whole Tarte video with their new Rainforest of the Sea where I'm gonna test it out, because Tarte I don't use very much of. But this came with the lash stash that Sephora did last fall, which I got, a whole bunch of mascaras, and then these came with it. This is the Best in Faux Lash Fibers. And so it's like this. It's got all these little fibers. I mean, I'm sure you guys know what lash fibers are. I believe Unique, that brand Unique maybe, kind of blew up this idea of lash fibers. It existed before, but the idea is you put a coat of mascara on first, then you put these on, and then you put another coat of mascara on to set it. When I use these, I actually recorded a video and they were all, like, they just fell off all over my face. The whole video, I have lash fibers all over my face. Embarrassing, yes, but I posted it anyway because I wasn't gonna get rid of my hard work in filming that video. So it is what it is sometimes. You just have to laugh it off. But that was a huge fail, and I did put this in one of my favorites and fails of the month. That month, it's just, if I'm gonna do something like lash fibers, I would prefer to do false lashes instead. It's one strip, you know if it's staying on or coming off. It's better than having to worry about lash fibers falling all over your face all day, let's be honest. Moving on. This, I'm still working with it, but I'm including it anyway because, and I even tested this just yesterday because I wanted to make sure of my opinion on this. This is the, I guess the brand is just called No Dark Shadows, but they also have another product called No Bleeding Lips, and I don't see another brand on it anywhere, so I don't really know. But anyway, you may have seen this in drugstores. It is a high-end drugstore type product. It's about $20, at least in Canada. This is in the shade Wow, and this is like a brush tip applicator, brightener, concealer type product. Now, it's called a complexion enhancer, but the name of it is No Dark Shadows. It says no dark shadows. It doesn't say some dark shadows, or your shadows might be a little more gray than they were purple, but it's called No Dark Shadows. Well, it doesn't really deliver on that promise. Here's kind of a swatch. It's kind of a peachy, but very, very light peach kind of product. I have tried this by itself. I have tried it mixed with different concealers. Just yesterday, I tried it with my Urban Decay concealer, which I love. And yes, for the first hour, it gave me a beautiful brightened under eye, but by the end of the day it was dark, it was gray, it was sallow, you know, it just was not working well. So for a product that's $20, it needs to work better than that. My recommendation for dark circles is a dark peach, so not like orange, although some people do use orange, but like a dark peach corrector and then a concealer on top. I find that that works way better than any brightener product does. A brightener product would be good for somebody who really, like, I see people say they have dark circles. No, honey, you have no dark circles. No, you don't. You have a little bit of grayness or a little bit of purple there. That's what you have. I have full-on dark circles that are genetic, that are hereditary, that live with me, and it will never go away. It just has to be dealt with. So if you just have like a little bit of darkness right here, you didn't get enough sleep, this would probably be good for you. But if you have full-on hereditary dark circles, that's not gonna work. Okay, so moving on to something a little bit different. This little guy here, this is from a company called Bourjois. This is a European brand. It's also in Canada. I don't know if you can find it in the States. I think they might pop up here and there. This is for applying your false lashes. So the idea is that you put your lash in here, kind of like this, and then you can move it around. You can place it on your eye so that you're not, you know, making a mess with your false eyelashes. This side has this little slanted tip so that you can kind of press it on the edges or wherever you need to, press it on. This is just a little too bulky. It is plastic and it's kind of hard to hold because it's so thick, it kind of wants to pop open. This was like $15, you know, for a little piece of plastic. Whereas this guy here, I can't remember how much it was, probably about the same. But this is the Sephora and I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called a Bullseye. I could be wrong. It is the exact same shape, right? Same idea, but because it's so much thinner, it's just so much easier to hold, you know? And even so, this isn't like the end all be all. I still have a little bit of difficulty applying lashes. I am by no means a lash expert, but this definitely helps. Foundations in general don't disappoint me overall usually. Sometimes it's hit and miss, but this one really was bad. So this is the Maybelline Dream Velvet Soft Matte Hydrating Foundation. This might be good for dry skin. I would assume it might be. But for oily skin, it is not good at all. And I did a full day, all day wear test on this. I'll link it if you are interested. If you have oily skin, stay far, far away from this. This is the absolute worst foundation in terms of settling into my pores. I never have foundation settle into my pores. Like, never. I'm wearing a drugstore foundation today. I'm wearing the Maybelline Matte and Poreless. Like, let's get up close. How's that looking? Pretty good, right? Well, no, Maybelline, that one is good, this one is not. It wore away everywhere where I was oily, and the places where I wasn't, it settled into every pore. It made it look like I had little orange dots all over my face. It was not good. It was not good at all. So again, might be okay if you're dry. If you're oily, no, not a good product. Only have 2 left. We're getting through this pretty quickly. Here's another Drugstore. This is Hard Candy Stroke of Genius Felt Tip Eyeliner with Lash Enhancing Serum. Reason I bought this is because it's purple. I almost never see purple liquid liners. I still don't have one other than this. And so when I saw it, I was very excited. Well, take a look at this. I'm gonna do one thin line and one thick line. Okay. Can you even see the thin line? Can you even see it? It's right there. Let's get really close. I mean, come on now. Does that look like that's how it should end up being? It's the most washed out thing ever. It's just pathetic. Like, that's just pathetic, let's be honest. And I love Hard Candy. Hard Candy makes some of my favorite Drugstore products, but this is just not good at all. The other thing is too, after a while it turns brown. So it doesn't, the very faint purple it is now, that doesn't even stay, it turns brown. Okay, very last item. Now, I'm willing to give this one the benefit of the doubt. I actually purchased a full size of this. This is the Marc Jacobs Highliner, gel eyeliner. And, you know, I bought the full size. When I got it, I ordered it online. So I got it, first thing I wanted to do was swatch it. First thing that happened when I swatched it is the end completely broke off. So it's an expensive product. When you lose about that much of it, you're like a little bit choked. It's about $2 or $3 worth of product right there that broke off. So it was super, super dry when I first got it. Once that tip broke off, you know, it was nice and creamy. So I bought it to use it in my lower waterline, and I did. It went on nicely. It wore off so quickly. It wore off within about an hour in a very patchy way. So I ended up with like little black spots here and there, but it by no means was it fully lined anymore. I've heard people say they love this. I have also heard that there were major problems with that formula and that they have improved it. So I just got this recently. I can't remember in what. I think maybe it was a 100-point perk from Sephora. It was something like that. Anyway, no problems really with it breaking off, being dry from the get-go. It's very black, so I'm willing to give it another try, but I'll report back. How about that? I'll report back on this. It used to be absolutely terrible. We'll see if it stays. Now that it's creamy, it's not so dry. Okay, that's one problem solved. We'll see if it actually stays in the waterline, and I'll report back to you. So you guys, that's it. That's everything in my disappointing products of today, of recent times. What does that even mean? Anyway, that's it for my recent disappointing products. If you have any disappointing products, leave them in the comments below so that we all know to avoid them. And like I said, you will see some more disappointing products come up in the future. But overall, I love to keep my channel positive. You guys know that. So overall, we talk about things we love here and things that work really well. So that's it for today. Thanks for spending time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye! That was really high. Bye.